Hi, I'm Bill Cook from Greenlee County Cooperative Extension out here on the east side of Arizona in a town called Duncan. We're doing a little bit of gardening here, and I'm going to do some thinning. And if you look, these are cantaloupes. You can see that I threw probably a dozen or more seeds in here. And it's kind of like, well, gee, why would he do a thing like that? Well, there's a couple of real good reasons for that. Number one, I'm a seed saver. So I have lots of seed. What that means is that I can seed heavily and thin later. So I see thinning as a really good opportunity. Again, as a seed saver, from that perspective, I can pick the best plants and I can thin out the plants that are less than optimum. And in that way, I am gradually, little by little, improving this variety of cantaloupe, that variety of cowpea, those sunflowers, things like that. The other reason I do this is I have too much garden to cover everything from the quail. So if I put, a dozen or 20 seeds in one hill, sure, the quail will get a few, but the plant will outgrow them. So these have now come to a point where they're getting their true leaves, where the quail and the rabbits no longer like to eat them. So now I can thin. Okay, so you can see there's still 6 or 8 plants in here, maybe more. The ones that the quail haven't bothered. And they are now at a stage with the true leaves that the quail don't really eat them anymore. They just like those tender little sprouts. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with a pair of clippers, and I am going to clip stems, and I am going to leave on these little hills the 2 best plants. And the reason we clip them is that if we pull them, well, there's 3 best plants. We'll leave 2 or 3 to each hill. So this, for this particular cantaloupe, if I put 2 plants about every 30 inches, that's a good population for the garden. So this is thinning the cantaloupe. So now I'm going to move over here to these sunflowers, which happens to be another favorite thing for quail to eat at the sprout stage. And I threw a whole handful of seeds in there. And again, we come in with the clipper. One or 2 that I consider to look the best. And the reason we're not pulling them is that the roots are very intertangled and will cause collateral damage. Some things tolerate a little collateral damage. Cucurbits don't. The cucurbits or the beans, either one, do not do well with the collateral damage of pulling. So we're going to move right over here. So here we have some watermelons. The way that I do my watermelons is I want 2 vines about every 3 to 4 feet. So I'm going to select the 2 spiffiest vines. I can improve my crop by eliminating the inferior plants before they ever produce fruit. So that's how we do our watermelons, much the same as we did the cantaloupes. Again, they're both a cucurbit, so they resent root disturbance, which is what I would get if I started pulling these. So now we've got some beans, which just happens to be quail's other favorite food, and I have planted these quite heavily. So here we have some bush providers, which also happen to be quail's other favorite food, is bean sprouts. I guess I like bean sprouts too, so what can I say? And again, beans being shallow rooted as they are, they resent the collateral damage if we just started pulling their neighbor. And we just go down the row until our beans look like that. And now we've eliminated the weak plants, we've saved the best plants, we're improving our beans. The crop in general every year gets a little bit better that way. And life is good out in the garden. And the quail didn't eat it all. So that's how I like to thin things out in the garden, the how and the why of it.